Okay, we are back. Episode 5, Conscious Approach Podcast. I need to get into this Ray Allen. Thing. For those of you who are unaware of what happened with Ray, he Ray was catfished. Ray sparked up a conversation online with what he thought was an attractive young lady. And long story short, he discovered that it was actually a man who was accosting him in that regard on the internets. And so the story gets ugly because he paid this guy whose name is Bryant Coleman. He paid this guy to keep quiet the fact that he was actually, getting into all sorts of fuckery online with a dude. Of course, you don't want that to get out because that's incredibly embarrassing. But the part about this that disturbs me, and this is something that we have seen going on, and it's gotten progressively more pervasive since the inception, really, of Instagram. Is how I feel that this became a thing. This whole thirst trap thing. Now, here's my thing with the thirst traps. Okay, thirsting itself is something that bothers me. Now, what I don't understand in particular, and we've seen situations with guys getting exposed for the thirst traps on Instagram. You can look at Odell Beckham, Paul George, Carmelo with the stripper, the whole La situation. What I don't understand, and this is what confuses me about this whole thing, if you are a guy who has money and influence and resources, you have all of the hash marks checked off for being able to have any woman you want, essentially, so long as she's available. And by available, I don't mean she's in a relationship, because we know that's not a qualification. We're just talking about her availability mentally.
Yeah, I got you.
It has nothing, because she can be in a relationship and still be available if you have the right amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you already have those things going for you. Why do you still get caught in these thirst traps with these women on Instagram? Now, I understand that in the case of the Ray Allen thing, it ended up being a catfishing situation in which it was a guy doing this. But the impetus of it was Ray Allen was falling victim to a thirst trap. I put myself in that position and I say, if I'm rich and successful, and I'm a public figure on top of that, I'm reasonably good looking, I'm a pro athlete, so I'm in reasonably good shape, I have resources, I don't need Instagram to get beautiful women. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're not wrong. You don't need it. No.
This is the point that I'm getting at.
Right.
So if you are someone who is in that position, I feel as though you shouldn't be getting caught up in these situations because you don't need to be DMing chicks. You don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be. That's just my personal viewpoint on it. I do not think that you need to be getting caught up in thirst traps on Instagram. And it enrages me.
Well, let me ask you.
It enrages, the thirst culture in general enrages me, but I get disappointed when I see someone who has all of the requisite qualifications necessary to get these women on your own merit, and you still feel as though you need to have Twitter fingers and IG fingers and be in chicks' DMs on IG. I don't like the pervasive nature of this thirst culture that we now find ourselves in. I'm putting my foot down on that one. It pisses me off. Okay? I don't like it because these women are winning.
Yeah,
they're winning. And I'm not trying to make it a man versus woman thing. I don't want to make it adversarial. I'm not trying to do that. But you have women out here who have commodified themselves just for their mere existence, thanks to Instagram. And we, as men, are monetarily supporting this.
Yes.
And I don't like it.
Yeah.
We don't need... You're okay with this?
Men are fucking idiots.
Are you okay with it? So you're okay with this?
That men are idiots?
No, not that men are idiot. Okay, fine. I see where you're going with it. Go ahead.
Men are
You
idiots.
can trump me all day by saying men are idiots. I agree, but can we not be? At least for this.
I see what
At
you're
least
saying.
for this.
No, but what I'm getting at is women are winning. They're winning because of men's incapacity to think.
There is no equivalent for men with this. Women are winning. I don't have an outlet to try and lure in women just for the sake of my existence the way they do. And I understand that that's just the way sexual dynamics work.
Right.
You know, women, you know, for a man, the first thing that a man is going to value for a woman is her physical attractiveness. Mm-hmm. That might not necessarily be the case for a woman. And so that plays into it as well. I'm just saying, mm-hmm. This is wild, man. And Ray, come on, Ray. You got rings, bro. You got all this money. You don't need to be getting caught up in that. And yet here we find ourselves.
All right, but my thing is when you're a rich dude, when you're in this stratification of just ballers, there's just so many other people that got guap like you, and they all do whatever they want. And you're just amongst that crowd. I'm not making an excuse for it, but I'm just saying once you're in that area where you've been famous longer than you've been alive, then at that point, then you are just used to getting whatever you want. So when you got an outlet like Instagram, where there's just, you can hit the search button and then you just see whatever type of woman you want. So that's not me, Ray Allen, the ball player, going in the club and finding somebody. Hey, Ray Allen, you have a wife. I saw you with that woman at that place. So Ray Allen's on his phone, just like how we is.
Right.
But I ain't got the clout of that I got rings and that I was Jesus Shuttlesworth in your favorite movie.
Uh-huh.
So, but I got that clout now. So I can hit the DM button and then she go, wait, the Ray Allen? And I'm like, yes. D. Ray Allen. And then at that point, and they're bad. And these are the
they're bad. They are bad. They all bad. They're always bad.
Right. So you it's you take your pick. It's just that when you're playing the thirst game, you are dealing with a bracket of women who don't give a fuck.
Clearly. So
they don't have a moral code that they stand on. Hence the reason why they're doing such activities. So, and not to say that somebody's shitty for doing certain, but I'm talking about the ones who are out here living, misleading, catfishing people. You're shitty. That's a shitty dynamic to have as a person. It's clearly, once you get into the depths of it and you see the length of these conversations, it's clearly some type of psychological problem going on there. So, those people, when you try to talk to them and stuff like that, it's no wonder this guy was getting extorted by a man. It's just so embarrassing that this is the worst case scenario. If you got catfished and it's like, damn, I got caught. You know what I'm saying? But damn, dog. You know what I'm saying? What happened? What she look like at least? It was a dude. What was his name? Braxter Coleman or whatever the fuck is called.
Brian
Coleman. Colon. You know what I'm saying? Asshole man. Hey, how embarrassing. And you know what I'm saying? Word on the street, this is like Ray Allen's second time getting caught by bro.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that dynamic. So if you got catfished once before and you just turn around and you just got catfished again, you get at that point, bro, I don't know what's going on. And you can't blame, listen, everybody cheats up there.
This ain't even about that, though.
What are you talking about? The thirsting that just in period.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. All right, so Bump, I'll tell you like this from thirsting. The thirsting comes from, bro, you thirst. Don't say that.
But this is what I'm saying.
Not to that dynamic.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying, though. Yes, I thirst. But the reason why I thirst, okay,
go.
The reason why I thirst is because I don't have the requisite tools to not have to. That's my thing.
You're not thirsty.
No. I'm a thirsty man. I am. I'm a thirsty man, admittedly.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is the reason why I thirst, and maybe I'm just thinking about this in terms of rainbows and unicorns and the perfect world. This is what I think. This is how I think things should go.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I thirst is because I don't have the requisite qualities to not have to. If I had, what culturally speaking have we always perceived to be the things that you need in order to get a bad bitch? Right? The money, right? Resources. You don't necessarily have to be a famous person, public figure, or celebrity. Mainly it's about the money and the resources and the influence.
Mm-hmm.
If you have those things, those are the things that sort of helps to usher you into the world in which those women are now an option for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have those things, I can get those women without having to be in chicks' DMs on IG. That's the point that I'm trying to make here.
I hear you, man.
And so I get disappointed when I see people who have, because we only hear about this stuff. And this is a conversation for another day. But we only see this kind of stuff happening to black dudes.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear about that. But that's not the point of this. I'm just trying to say we only see that kind of stuff with famous male black celebrities. Okay, but what I'm saying is, it disappoints me to see people like Odell Beckham getting exposed by a chick on IG for smashing, right? That happened years ago. She just wanted some name and some fame. And she got it. She took advantage of him because he allowed that situation to happen because he put himself in that situation. All I'm saying is that it disappoints me when I see men who have those requisite qualifications and they still resort to the same stuff that I'm doing. I would DM the chick on IG.
Exactly, because we're all human, bro. He did a human thing, is what you're saying.
The human thing is to get the ass. That's the human thing.
He did a human thing. But when you're Odell Beckham...
I understand where you're going.
Right.
I get it. I understand where you're going.
So she says, guess who DM me? I got screenshots.
I get you.
Yeah, man.
I get you.
So it even happens when rappers or whoever, they got, when IG and stuff was really initially getting started, everybody was getting caught by the side chick with the sleeping. The niggas was sleeping the girl like or doing a selfie on Snap. Yeah, look who in my bed.
Yeah.
Or who bed I'm in or whatever.
Yeah.
So people have gotten more smart. Some of these guys got claws. Hey, no phones in here.
That's what I get. Like Jeter allegedly had the no phone in the house thing. Period. Mm-hmm. So if you came to Jeter's house allegedly, you had to surrender your cell phone at the door. Mm-hmm. Jeter was smart to know you're not gonna thirst trap me.
Right. You're not gonna fuck me up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I guess I just wish that these guys, if I can't have it my way. And we're not thirsting, period, which is what would be my preference. That's clearly unreasonable. But if I can't have it that way, I would at least like to have these guys not be so irresponsible when it comes to getting caught up.
No, most definitely. Now, some of these moves are irrational. And you look at it and they made, not only did they DM a girl like I would, but they DM'd her like I would.
Right.
And it's like, hey, man, you're fucking a celebrity. If you wanted to do this, you would do it. I mean, you probably got a side person.
Yeah, use a shadow account, a third party.
Account,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's some way where you could just get lost in the sauce. Yeah. And then just, all right, fine, I'm out here doing my thing. But still, nevertheless, bro, it's just once you get so high in stature, you lose a lot of privacy.
You do, and you lose privacy and perspective.
Yeah.
And I just, I think that it's an unfortunate thing that thirsting has become a profession. You have a lot of these women, they invest in themselves physically so that they can earn a living getting DM'd by famous people on the internet.
Right.
That literally is what is happening. And I just wish that like I said, unfortunately, we're not as and I think it's an ego thing. I think ego plays a part in this too because Paul George is an NBA star. Someone argue Paul George is an NBA superstar. If I'm an NBA superstar, my ego is probably to the extent that I don't think this chick would ever have the nerve to put me on blast. And these chicks don't get, like you said, their moral compass is lacking. They don't give a shit. So they don't care if you're Ray Allen. They don't care if you're Paul George. They don't care who you are. They will put you on blast.
Prefer if you're Ray Allen or Paul George.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I'm going to have a name. Yeah. So that's when you're dealing with that dynamic. But in a nutshell, when we're talking about thirsting as a whole, we're dealing with a social context. It's not, I wish it was just men and their personal nature. It has something to do with their nature, but it's also how their nature was trained. And so when we talk about, and what was we saying?
Paul George, Odell Beckham.
Oh, yeah, but the social construct of
okay.
And so, but when we talk about this patriarchal society that we live in, women have been completely sexualized in every aspect.
Absolutely.
And so even though they have places in the workplace and all this other stuff and they got this going on, this is still a man's world. And so in this man's world, he built it in the way he wants his women to perform, like servants. And so, or sex slaves. So we objectify women as just sex slaves or just sexual objects. Yeah. And so when people are scrolling on IG and they look at all these models or whatever, and women are taking the time out of not investing in a car, not investing in a business, but investing in boobs and hips and ass. And by the way, some of it is just an atrocity. It's not even halfway attractive. And people, but you got all these thirsty dudes in the section doing all this. Oh, you bad. Flames, hearts. Also,
eggplant emoji.
Because, exactly. Eggplants. You know what I'm saying? All because on his own personal time in real life, he can't get anything.
Yeah.
So he's on IG all day boosting up the egos and the heads of these abominations.
The ego.
Some of it is abominations.
The ego plays a huge factor in this. Let me just ask you this, and we're gonna close it out with this. You brought up the patriarchal society and the sexualization of women and all that. I agree with all that, but you know me, and you know how I always try to look. I'm an accountability guy. You know that about me. And so you don't think that part of this is made all that more pervasive because the women themselves are complicit? Like, they contribute to it because no one's forcing them to get on IG with this stuff. They're doing it willingly because they know the gains that can be had.
Right.
So they don't share any responsibility in it whatsoever. It's just all about us and the fact that just men, in terms of a conditioning standpoint, we're just going to thirst in that way no matter what, and so they're just playing a role. Is that simple?
It's just that simple. It's just like people feel like they literally have to wake up and go to work tomorrow or send their kids off to school because that's what people do. If you think that's what people do, you failed. But people wake up and they automatically get in their car and go to work.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, if you still believe in this structural system that they set up, you waking up and going to work tomorrow is patriarchal.
Okay.
You going to church on Sunday is patriarchal. So a girl doing her thing on IG, she's finding her lane within the society that they said that you can go and perform in. So the only thing that they're doing is they're performing in the only lane that was really given to them that they can really thrive and survive in and make big time money in.
Yeah.
They can make big time money. That's their athletic skills. That's what our athletic women are hopping on poles.
That's a very good point.
Right. Yeah. So that's the whole dynamic is they're making their way the best the way they can. And it so happened that when they live in this lane and in this pocket, you can't all the way have your faculties together. If you're going to be a real thoughters, you have to be psychologically fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
So in order to be psychologically fucked up, the top of the top thoughts, and that's the Amber Rose who have slut walks. When you're the top of the top, you are completely out of your mind.
Oh, yeah.
And so now she's trying to train other young women who are confused to be even further out of their mind. So this whole dynamic that we're dealing with is a lane that patriarchal societies have caused, and so it's a side effect of the way that this society is structured.
Mm-hmm.
So I could place the blame, but at the same
I'm
time,
not placing blame. What I'm saying, yeah, like the at a certain point when you're contributing to it. So what role are you playing in the circumstance? Where is your level of accountability for it?
And so I would say for you, just if you would feel some type of way about societal whatever, then at that time on your front, your accountability would be to not like any of those girls.
And I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and just to not to make this about me, but I did that about maybe 6 months ago. I went through my IG and I purged my account of all of the follows, of the thoughts and the models, and I got rid of all of them because I said I'm contributing to this madness.
Yeah,
and I'm not my benefit from it is non-existent.
I still got a few. And I'm not letting.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming. Listen, I have one.
Right.
And just because I think that she is a 10 out of 10, Aisha Diaz, I'm never gonna not follow Aisha Diaz because that, if I were to envision what would be my ideal female, that's what she would look like. She's the only one though. I got rid of all the rest of them because I had to purge. I took inventory on what was important to me, and I purged myself because at the end of the day, above all else, I had to. I thought about. I said, Javis, following these chicks benefits you how? You get to see their photos. Right. If you consider that a benefit, okay, that's one. Give me another one. Mm-hmm. There was no benefit to me for doing this. Mm-hmm. It is not in my personality to like photos anyway. Just because philosophically I'm opposed to it, so I just don't do it because I just don't like the thirst machine in and of itself. So I purged myself. I got rid of all of them. And I don't fault anybody who doesn't do. I'm not saying that's what you're supposed to do.
I got you.
I'm just saying I did that for me because I felt like that was my personal protest.
I got you. And I say, and just for me in closing, I just say like this. Again, I'm not condemning women for doing what they do. It's just what has become what it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm just as uncomfortable with that as going to work tomorrow. But I'm about to go to work tomorrow, and it's part of this slavery system that got built such a way that we're doing it mechanically. But if our generation or the people that are moving around this time and age, it's our responsibility to recognize the madness that we were trained to live in and make sure that future generations don't engage in the same level of insanity. Because I just admitted it. You know what I'm saying? About this dynamic and, about thirsting or whatever. And sure enough, as soon as I got, I get back on IG, you know what I'm saying? I'm right back at it. So, I'm doing my part. But again, this is just what it is. So we're just trying to move on to the next level of thought. And that way, it's all of, we're at this place in our minds where it's like, hey, I know what's going on. This ain't all the way right. This could be different, but I'm still like this damn bitch.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, all right, well, okay, man, but come on, Ray. You were one of my favorite people, but, Ray getting caught up in the thirst traps. But we gonna go ahead and close it out. Be sure to check out the website, consciousapproach.com. Look us up on YouTube, Conscious Approach. Look for the brain with the shaking hands. That's us. JV Wins on IG, Twitter, Javis Ogden. My boy Dogon here, Dogon_SS on IG. Look him up. This man is a visionary. And until next time, be more responsible with your thirsting. my black men. And we'll see you next time. We out.
All right.